January 2026. The automatic doors of Heathrow Airport slid open, and a wave of biting cold air hit Paul. It was a stark, almost shocking contrast to the familiar warmth of his home in Africa. This wasn't just a change in temperature, it was the start of a new world. He clutched his suitcase handled tighter, his passport feeling like a precious key in his pocket. He took a deep breath, watching it turn into a white cloud in the chilly London air. This single moment was the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and relentless belief. Back home, Paul was the person everyone knew would always go the extra mile. His grandmother used to say he had a spirit that couldn't be shaken. That spirit had fueled him through long days and longer nights, saving every single penny he earned. His dream wasn't just a fantasy, it was a carefully constructed plan to study in the UK. He lived by a simple but powerful motto: nothing great is easy. And now, standing here, he was living proof of that. The journey hadn't been easy, but it had been worth it. His first real test was the London Underground. The sheer speed of it, the rush of people, the labyrinth of tunnels, it was a world away from the steady, predictable rhythms of his life before. A jumble of nerves and pure, unadulterated excitement bubbled up inside him. He felt like a small boat in a vast, fast-moving river. But as he looked around the carriage, he saw something that calmed his racing heart. He saw faces from every corner of the globe, each person with their own story, their own journey. He realized he wasn't just an outsider. He was part of a massive, ongoing story of human migration and aspiration. He remembered the tales he'd heard growing up, stories of resilience and courage. People who had faced incredible odds, who had left everything they knew behind to build a new life in a foreign land. They weren't just stories anymore. They were a living, breathing reality all around him. He felt a connection to these strangers, a shared understanding that transcended language and culture. They were all dreamers, all builders, all survivors. That sense of shared experience gave him a new surge of strength. Stepping out of the underground station and onto the streets of London, Paul felt the city's energy pulse around him, the towering buildings, the symphony of sirens and chatter. The endless stream of people, it was overwhelming, but in a good way. It was a city alive with possibility. He pulled out a paper map, a slightly old-fashioned tool in a digital world, but it felt right. It felt tangible. In one hand, he held the map of London. In the other, he held the unwritten map of his future. He thought about the challenges ahead, the demanding studies, the financial pressures, the inevitable moments of homesickness and loneliness. But he also thought about the opportunities, the knowledge he would gain, the friendships he would forge, the person he would become. He was ready. He had prepared for this, not just financially, but mentally and spiritually. He knew there would be days when the cold would feel like it had seeped into his bones. when the distance from home would feel like an unbridgeable chasm. But he also knew he had the strength to endure. He carried the warmth of his home within him, the love of his family, the wisdom of his grandmother. He was a product of his past, but he was not defined by it. He was the architect of his own future. This wasn't just about getting a degree. It was about proving to himself that he could thrive anywhere, that his spirit was truly unshakable. With a determined smile, Paul took his first steps toward his new accommodation. Each step felt significant, a deliberate move into a new chapter of his life. He wasn't just walking down a street in London. He was walking toward his dream. The city didn't know his name yet, but it would. He was here to learn, to grow, and to contribute. The United Kingdom was no longer just a destination on a map. It was his new beginning, and he was ready to embrace every single moment of it. This was his journey, and it had only just begun. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If Paul's journey resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of courage and new beginnings. We'll see you in the next one.